Welcome to The Bench Is Spoken, a Survivor podcast by Bench Points Media. Each week we watch the episode of Survivor and do a recap and provide reactions. We're on season 49, episode 12?
I think so, yeah.
Episode 12, that just wrapped up. So we're going to kick it off with Mary giving a quick recap of the episode.
And I do apologize, I have to go off my phone. I don't have my handy dandy notebook this time. So we start out with back at camp as usual after tribal council, and everybody's talking about how cool it was that they voted, I believe the word harmoniously was used, and got Sophie S out as a blindside, seemingly unable to understand the impact of what that means now for future votes. We see Sophie B talking to Christina about turning on Rizzo or Savannah and needing to make a big move to jazz up her resume for the jury. Rizzo is spreading more lies, this time about his idol only being good until the final 6, and then beyond that he can't use it. Steven just generally talking about how exciting it was. We very quickly move into a challenge for reward where they have to do a lot of climbing and weaving a bag through some poles to then ultimately throw something on top of a pole. Savannah wins that and is going to be treated to a night at the sanctuary with Mexican food and letters from home.
Best reward yet.
In a shocking twist, she chooses Sophie B and Rizzo to join her in the sanctuary. Just kidding. Leaving Steven, Christina, and Sage back at camp dealing with some rodents and potentially some rain. At the sanctuary, we see them getting a little tipsy, and when you know it, Sophie B spills the beans about the refried beans, about her knowledge is power, and they plot to steal Steven's advantage at the next tribal council. Then they get their letters from home, and everyone is very emotional and very motivated by what their loved ones have said. And we see some genuine tears from Savannah for the first time. Then back at camp, Rizzo's trying to get Steven to tell him who they were plotting to vote out while they were gone, but he won't spill the beans. And then we go to our immunity challenge, where they have to balance a ball on a board using one leg, and in a shocking twist again, Savannah wins immunity. Sage, though, put on a good show.
Yes, she did.
Coming in strong second.
Broke a Survivor record, both of them.
That's awesome. And then with Savannah having the immunity and the tribe knowing that Rizzo has the idol, there's a lot of talk of, will it be Sophie B? And then weirdly, Sage brings Steven up as a possible target. But going into tribal, we think it's going to be 3 for Sophie B and 3 for Steven, with Steven playing his block a vote to take one of those out. Then we see, unfortunately, Sophie B embarrass herself by making a big show of asking Steven if he has an advantage, and he can confidently say he does not because he's already played it, which shocks everyone and gets a big reaction from jury. But unfortunately, even though Rizzo then ultimately still doesn't play his idol to save Sophie B, Sage ruins the entire season by voting with Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie B, and we see Steven say bye-bye.
That's a great recap, Mary. I think we're just going to start off with, we're disappointed.
I know.
Yeah.
We said we don't even want to do this. It was just such a letdown.
Yeah. We compared it to watching a movie, and then you get to the end and you're like, gross. Like, that's not what we thought could or should happen. So there's some, if you feel a sense of disappointment, it's genuine. We do feel disappointed. But we can start off by, do you want to start off by chatting about the first challenge? I mean, I
Sure.
feel like they went to the first challenge pretty quick.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I liked it. So, first challenge, as Mary mentioned in her recap, they had to crawl through these ropes to get these bags, and they had to untie the bags. I do like it when people have to untie bags or like use a bunch of different keys, because from the outside looking in, it's easy to say this because I'm not in the middle of survivor trying to earn $1 million. I know that. But it's the people that are slow and steady are the ones that are successful in getting it out. But the ones that just run up to it and just like kind of tie their own fingers in knots and panic have trouble. So that's interesting. What I liked about this challenge most is it seemed to be fairly evenly yoked. So everybody had gotten to the end. They crawled through the ropes, they collected their bags, they untied their knots, they got their bags out of the bags, and were able to start throwing them on top of the pole, which was the final piece of the challenge. If you could throw the right color bag on top of your pole, you would win. Well, everybody was at the final stage together. It wasn't a blowout like Christina. Sorry, Christina, for calling you out. But normally you're at the beginning of the challenge while everybody else is at the end. But everybody was there together. So I really liked that, and it made for a suspenseful episode. And I don't know if you noticed this, but Savannah did end up winning the reward. But when she got her beanbag on the pole, she seemed genuinely surprised. Do you think?
I didn't catch that. But that's interesting.
I thought she was like, whoa, it looks like she was surprised. And at the beginning of the challenge, this was the first time that we'd seen her Savannah, be vulnerable and say, you know what, I'm struggling. I've really had a hard time.
And it felt genuine.
Yes.
Whereas other times when she's been emotional, it felt forced. Not genuine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the addition of the fact that not only were these bags hard to untie, but there were 3 of them, and only one of them had a beanbag that they could actually use. So that I thought was cool, because you saw some people sort of fumbling with that, or thinking, like there was one point where Sophie B was like trying to mess with the white one, and Jeff had to be like, that's not what you need.
Yeah.
And then when Christina made her first toss and it just went backwards.
Bless her heart. I forgot about that.
That was great.
Very Christina.
I thought it seemed like everybody was having fun during that challenge at that point. Maybe not Sage, but everybody else was like kind of looking a little happy or laughing even. Like Sophie B was laughing at herself at her first attempt because it was pretty bad. So I thought that was a fun one.
Yeah, I did too. Oh, Christina, that was a highlight. And I would have been sad if we didn't miss it. She was cute. I think she's adorable. Stephen had the longest amount of time at the end. He had the most attempts to try to throw his bag on the pole and failed. And I wonder if that's killing him, because he seems pretty competitive.
And, okay, I always think back to 90s sitcoms.
Love it.
So there was an episode, and this happened among a lot of shows with nerdy characters, but there was an episode of Step by Step where the nerdy one, Mark, won a pool game against like a pool shark because he knew geometry, and I felt like Steven should have like used his
science brain.
Yeah, science brain to like figure out the trajectory that he needed, and like, you know, where the North Pole magnetic field was and all this kind of stuff to like get his thing on the pole. So I was a letdown, Steven.
Yeah,
I love you.
I thought he was going to win. It's crazy to me how small the winter pool for challenges have been. It's been almost... Has anyone won besides Steven and Savannah? Alex? Just nobody's won but Steven and Savannah.
I think that's true. I can't think of anyone else who won.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Or Sophie S. made? No, I don't think so.
Sophie has won one. You're right.
A reward? I don't know. It's hard to go back and track of stuff like that. But next time we do this, we need to keep a spreadsheet.
Yeah, seriously. Of stats and things. That would be fun. And we could even use that as part of a segment. But there are only 2 or 3 people who have won a challenge, period. Which is rare.
Very wild.
Yeah. Which is rare. And the other players, it almost feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it almost feels like they're not trying harder, they're giving up, especially Rizzo. It doesn't seem like he's really in any challenges, and he's always one of the first to drop.
Yeah, I feel like I can't decide if that's like an intentional, I don't need to try, because, you know, for example, with immunity, he's got the idol in his pocket, and he also just has all the confidence, rightfully so, that no one's going to vote him out. It's almost like having that idol prevents him from getting any votes at all, because people always just think, well, he might play that idol, you know, like there's
but
just
this particular season they think that every other season that's ever been filmed, all 48 other ones, they would have said, no, we need to flush it.
I know,
we all know he has a habit, we need to flush it.
This group of people is just not.
Well, I've tried to find every excuse for them not to have focused on Rizzo or Savannah, and I can't.
It's just
when one of them is vulnerable, attack. And especially, you have to separate them.
Yeah. Well, I think we're, once again, as usual, getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, I think we'll save like most of the episode time for talking about tribal and how the votes played out and all that kind of stuff, because it's wild.
Yep. But it is wild.
Yeah.
So after the challenge, which was a really fun one to watch, the reward was Mexican food, dessert, something else, wasn't it?
Letters from home,
and a night in the sanctuary. So this was by far the biggest reward.
I thought they were for sure going to throw in like, and you get immunity or something, and you get a special advantage.
Do you remember when they used to do like specific challenges? If you won, you would get whatever the survivor reward is, and then you would get like $1,000 gift card to Outback.
Yeah. Or like a car.
Yeah, but they always gave them lesbian cars. They gave them like Subarus, or one time it was like a van that looked like a something. I don't know. It was interesting. I'm not saying that offensively. I'm just saying historically, those have been the kind driven by friends in the lesbian community.
There you go.
Anyway, and her friend Jeff. Anyway, so they went to the sanctuary, and there they were eating tacos, drinking margaritas, vibing, having a great time. The people who went, Savannah chose Rizzo and Sophie B. Nobody was surprised that she was going to choose her two allies.
I didn't even know why she bothered to try to like drag that out at all.
Right.
Like, just be like, well, obviously I'm going to take my friends, because why wouldn't I at this point? Come on, Rizzo and Sophie B.
Yep. So she did. She took them. And they went to the sanctuary. Earlier this season, anytime anybody's had an advantage or any type of separation, they've not taken that as an opportunity to talk game. They just kind of enjoy the reward, which isn't the purpose. And that's driven me crazy about season 49. I do wish they would have talked more game. But today they did talk game, to the point where Sophie B had a margarita and told them about her knowledge. Told
One
Savannah,
margarita, I'm going to tell you about my knowledge.
We should remix that for a TikTok. So she told Savannah and Rizzo about the knowledge is power. Prior to this, she had kept her mouth shut the entire damn game, and now one margarita, and she spilled the refried beans, which is the best reference. I think that might be the quote of the episode.
Yeah, that was very frustrating. Ugh.
But they're so cocky and confident, because they can be at this point.
I mean, because nobody's even trying. I mean, tonight. Okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But like, tonight should have been the night that they lost a little steam, a little air out of their balloon. But whatever.
Okay, so after they did the reward, they went back to camp, and Sage, Steven, and Christina have been sleeping on the beach with some rats. But I will tell you something about that scene, and I pointed out to Mary, and she didn't seem too excited, but does anybody remember the chickens that they won several episodes ago that nobody ever talks about anymore? Well, there was a chicken in the background, so that was pleasant.
At least one's still kicking.
Yeah, I'm surprised they hadn't caught it and killed it, so maybe they can't.
Well, that's the thing. Savannah said that she'd gone Savannah said she'd gone 6 days on just coconut and fruit bread, which I'm not clear on what that is. But why wouldn't they just eat the chicken if they were that hungry? Unless, I mean, if that chicken is trolling them that hard, just like that chicken circling the camp without being caught.
Immunity advantage, individual immunity. That chicken won it. Anyway, so we got an guest appearance by the chicken, which was lovely. And Sage, Christina, and Steven acted a little bit aggravated that they weren't the ones chosen for the reward, which was interesting because
predominantly
no world.
Sage, let's be real. Though.
Yeah, but in no world would they have taken. Mm-hmm. One part that we skipped over is the letters from home. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think if we have to suffer through a letters from home segment, this one wasn't too bad, because it was like, you made a good point that they didn't like read them and stuff. It wasn't as drawn out. They didn't do like family photos and stuff like that. It was more about how reading the letters motivates them, and maybe like a little bit of a anecdote about one of the people that wrote the letters. I was okay with that. It wasn't super drawn out. And it was sweet to see them be genuinely reacting to something. I feel like Sophie B is pretty genuine, but Rizzo I question sometimes, and Savannah I question all the time. So it was nice to see like that they're real human beings.
Yep. No, I agree. It was good. I was hoping it was going to be when he kept on saying, "But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more." I thought there's going to be an auction. There's going to be an auction. I don't know why I thought that, because why would you win an auction if you got individual immunity, unless it was an advantage in the auction. The auction is my very favorite part of Survivor, and when we go a whole season without one, it makes me really sad.
Many seasons without it.
Well, it makes me
the dark
super
times,
sad.
the dark ages. One thing I also wanted to mention about the reward, and this isn't necessarily just this reward, but all the rewards this season, we never saw anybody find an advantage at a reward, which we have seen in the past a little bit. And
I like that.
Yeah, me too. And I'm curious, when that's the case, is it that there was something and nobody was looking for it, or there wasn't anything, or...
That's a really good point.
I would love to know if there were any advantages at any of these rewards. Maybe we'll see that next time. Although I don't know if they would do that so close to the finale.
Surely not, because I think they have to use them.
Yeah.
Because whoever, that would just guarantee somebody.
Well, I mean, we saw that one crazy immunity challenge where half the people got immunity and then Savannah got extra crap. So
yeah,
anything's possible with this wild ass season.
Well, the rewards are like huge. Every reward is huge. It can't just be like, oh, here's a turkey sandwich. It's like just crazy advantages in the
You get to watch all the producers' footage to see what people are
that's
saying.
right. Yeah, it's nuts. So when they went back to the beach, everybody was kind of, it seemed to be very definitive 3-3. Savannah, Rizzo, Sophie versus Christina, Steven, Sage. There was a little bit of overlap and there was a little bit of gameplay, quote unquote. But really, you can't really strategize and plan until you've been to the immunity challenge.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. That could throw off your entire game, which it did. So then we moved pretty quickly to the individual immunity challenge. Do you want to try to chat about that?
So this was an endurance challenge where each player had a board with a little bit of a lip at the end and a ball that was on the board, and they could only use one leg, foot, to steady the board and keep the ball on it. The goal being to be the one to keep your ball on the board for the longest. I mean, when I tell you some of these people weren't even trying at all, like almost immediately Rizzo out. Then very quickly Sophie B, Christina, Steven, and then you're left with Sage and Savannah. And Sage, I had such high hopes for her, so I just continue to be disappointed. But this one, it felt like it was hers to lose. Like she was really locked in. You felt like she was going to be really strong and a big contender to finally take Savannah out. She even started like the, strategizing,
I like
chatting quicker.
Because that's something we've not seen. She was talking in Savannah's ear and saying, hey, do you trust me? If you trust me, I can save us both. Do you trust me? If you trust me, I can save us both. And Savannah didn't shoot her any shit. Yeah. She said no.
And I respected that. I think I did too.
Yeah. Especially after their history. And Sage has been very vocal about not liking Savannah or not wanting to keep Savannah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great that everybody's been so like, follow the rules, do what you're supposed to do, don't be creative, don't think outside the box. But that was something a little bit more involved.
Like she was trying.
Yes.
Ultimately, though, I felt like she just, and I'm not blaming or judging for this because it's got to be an incredibly challenging thing to do, but she started to sort of like talk herself out of it, it felt like, or you could just kind of see it on her face that she was giving up. Yeah. Like, if I mention all these people, then it's like almost asking for them to forgive her versus being like using them for motivation. So ultimately Savannah wins immunity again, and it obviously was a very physically demanding challenge because they both sort of looked like I'd look when I'm trying to get out of a chair, like stumbling and like slowly moving stiffly back to, and it was really an interesting post-challenge situation. I felt like with, Sage had sort of a little breakdown, everybody was comforting her, and everybody was cheering everybody on through the whole thing. Even Savannah, who was a shit talker before, was encouraging Sage, throughout. So it was like a very palatable win.
Yes.
Not,
well, compared to the others, because the others, when she was like shit talking during the play, and in the beginning I was like, what are you doing? That's really bitchy. That's awful. I hate that. But if you're going to win every challenge, you know what? Like, she's earned the right to do that. But I agree with you. I appreciated the fact that she, like, recognized that Sage was trying and giving it 300%. And 2, she also recognized that, hey, maybe I might need her on my side at some point. I think that's probably more of why. And she realizes probably that Sage is an extremely emotional player. So if you cross her, she could just be a wild card. Yeah.
I think, too, I think we saw, like, the way that Savannah exited that challenge, that it must have, she seems like she can be so stoic and, like, hide any emotion or stress or fatigue, whatever. She was probably super feeling that. So she probably did have some respect for Sage lasting that long, because she herself was like, this sucks and it's awful. Yeah. So.
Well, they did say that both of the girls beat the Survivor record for that particular game by 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
10 minutes is a long time.
Yeah. I mean, that looked like a really hard position to hold.
I don't think I could stand on one leg for 10 minutes. No. Period.
Especially after not eating for all that time
and
everything. Yeah. So we go back, and then immediately my opinion of Savannah goes back to the way it was, because she's like gloating and doing her smirking about how much power they have and all this kind of stuff. Just chaos. Absolute chaos erupts, where it seems so obvious that with Steven's advantage, they can block a vote and figure out a way to divvy up their votes so that they can get Sophie B or Rizzo out. And instead, Sage bringing up freaking Steven's name.
Yeah. That's where things turned to hard left, is when Sage started bringing up Steven. But it's because Rizzo planted that seed in Sage's head. I don't know if I said it during TikTok Live. Rizzo has to be the most effective salesman ever. So if anybody has any open sales position, just pay Rizzo whatever he wants to be paid. Because he is just leading these people to water and making them drink. And they're just like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever you say. I'll do whatever you say. So even though... now I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's okay. We're close enough.
Okay, we're close enough. We're only 20 minutes in and we're already starting to talk about travel.
There's just going to be a lot there. A lot.
Yes.
Ranting. Crying.
Sophie, Rizzo, and Savannah all know about Sophie's knowledge is power, which she has done a fabulous job, in my opinion, about keeping her mouth shut about this entire season. Has a margarita, shares that she has the knowledge is power. The three of them also know that Steven has an advantage that he won last challenge. Nobody, to this point, knows what Steven's advantage is, except...
Well, he told his alliance
while they were at the sanctuary.
You know what I find interesting, now that we're talking about this? I didn't even think about this during the episode. I wonder if Sage told Rizzo about that, and that was part of why he didn't play the idol, although I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, because it's Rizzo, like why he would get up and talk about it, but I wonder if, because we know she spills the beans. That's what she does every time somebody gives her any information. She runs off and tells somebody that's not part of her group this information that she's gotten. And the girl can't learn a lesson, because every single time it's ended in disaster. Like, whoever she thought she could trust turns on her or shares that information with the wrong people, and it's chaos. Yeah. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent. Anyways. Yeah.
So Rizzo and Savannah tell Sophie, they all mutually agree. They know now that Savannah's got her individual immunity idol. They know that Rizzo's got his individual immunity idol. Oh, no, Savannah's got the immunity. Rizzo's got the individual immunity idol. Sophie B has knowledge is power. And so they're like, well, obviously.
Yeah, they're like, we have all the power. This is,
and whatever. Obviously the only answer is to take Steven's. And little did they know, Steven had to play he did have advantage, but he had to commit to playing it before tribal council. So he had already used it. He'd already blocked Savannah's vote. But even with his advantage, things still went crazy daisy. But when going into this episode, me, along with all of the United States, thought that Sophie B was going to have enough common sense to take Rizzo's idol, Why would you try to take a block of vote instead of somebody's
Well, she didn't know what it was. So maybe that's the only thing we can... I think that she...
Why would you guess?
I don't...
If you know...
I think she was probably thinking, along with... Like, Rizzo had planted the seed in them that it was going to be a steal a vote. And they didn't want a vote stolen. So they were trying to take it from him. But I just think that for whatever reason, she's never going to give up on that alliance and really turn on them. Maybe now she will, because he had the opportunity to play the idol for her and he didn't.
An alliance is an alliance till it's not.
Yeah. But I just... There's so many questions about how people are playing this season. I don't know. I need to write a 20-page paper about it.
Yeah. Well, it just seems so predictable in an icky way. Mm-hmm. And everybody was hoping that this was going to be the week. This is going to be the week that
they had their chance.
Yes.
Because what we saw was, we go in there, Sophie B makes a big production of playing her knowledge is power. You see all the smirks on Savannah's face and Rizzo's face, and she does this big thing, and then she says, "Steven, do you have an advantage?" And he says, "Nope." And she's like, "You're lying." And she's like looking at Jeff like he's lying.
Yeah.
She asks again, "Nope." And nobody interrupts anything, and everybody's like... So I wonder in that moment, unless Rizzo knew about it, which he may have, but in that moment, do you think that Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie thought that he had just lied about it?
Yeah.
That's funny. I like that. So anyway, she makes this big production. She doesn't have it. And so Jeff's like, okay, time to vote. And then we see Savannah. Her vote is blocked. She and Sophie B and Rizzo are pissed at Steven, obviously writing his name down. And then what?
And then everybody votes, and then they go to read the votes, and at that time Rizzo does what Rizzo does and says, "Oh, I gotta play my idol." So he stands up and he walks over to Jeff and says, "I've held on this thing for a really long time. It means so much to me, and this is the week I have to play it." And then he doesn't play it. He says, "No, I'm not gonna play it." And he sets his booty tail right back down. But I was assuming when he got up to play it, he was going to say, "Oh, shit, as the fan, I've got to play it for Sophie." No. He said, "I'm going to keep it for myself and I'm not going to play it." And that's what ticks me off. Because Sophie B knew in her heart of hearts, what do they say? 2 in the hand is worth 1 in the bush. 2 in the bush is worth 1.
I think you were right the first time.
Yes. Why pass up a maybe for a yes?
I don't know.
She could have taken it, and she was...
The only thing I could say is that with this happening,
makes me feel yucky.
I almost feel... Okay, well, hold on. Let's just finish up real quick and then talk about all the ways this pisses off. During the votes, and we're like, okay, it's Sophie B, here's a Steven, And then right when we think it's going to be a Sophie B getting voted out, the last effing vote is Steven. And Sage is like, "Sorry, dude, I couldn't beat you."
All casual.
In what universe can Sage beat any of them?
No.
Christina, to be honest. Maybe she could have even beaten Sophie B, but I doubt it, because she was part of the most powerful alliance almost the entire time.
And there's one challenge left.
Why would you do that? Because now you're just ruining your chances of being in a majority vote. She could have guaranteed, maybe she can't beat Steven, but the other people are going to vote her out next week. So you could have at least risked that maybe you could have beaten Steven in the last immunity challenge and sent him home then, or something, whatever. And then you'd still only have Savannah and Rizzo to deal with. I don't know. It just felt stupid. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I wonder if she's in the anybody but me mindset at this point in the game. But every time...
So it's going to be her next week, unless she wins immunity, which she ain't going to do.
No, she's not. Every time somebody has voted out somebody that Sage is close with, she's been very, very, emotional and defensive and want to have a vendetta and be after him and laser focused. And then she votes out Steven because she's a flipper.
Yeah.
And then she says, sorry, man. Ugh, that takes me off.
So stupid.
That takes me off.
So that's, okay, so after she says that Sophie S. wrote Savannah's check.
I add one quick commentary. I just got a text from my husband, and it said, I can't tell you how much I dislike Sage. So...
I said she single-handedly ruined this season of Survivor with these stupid plays the last several weeks.
Yeah, well, I think this whole situation should have been avoidable if earlier in the season, when Rizzo and Savannah had solidified themselves as a team, very much solidified themselves as a team,
and also knew it.
Yes, and solidified themselves as a threat. Both of them. Rizzo's a social threat to the nth degree, and Savannah is a challenge threat to the nth degree. Everybody knew that. The first time Savannah did not win individual immunity, she should have been gone. Then they should have flushed Rizzo's idol, and even if he was still there, he would be nude.
And they could have flushed his idol when she won that one immunity challenge, because they could have lied. And these people are just not capable of lying and strategizing and following through, I think is what we're seeing.
Yes, and it could be a totally different game. If and nobody's in self-preservation mode. It's like, no, I don't want to offend anybody. No, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is my team. I love them. Screw your team.
Right.
It's an individual game.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to what was Sophie B thinking, playing the knowledge is power to ask Steven instead of taking Rizzo's idol, and then Rizzo not using the idol to save her. Like she says, when Rizzo starts to get up, she says, you gotta play it for me. And he didn't. And then instead of just being like, I'm not gonna play it at all, and staying seated and being quiet, he has to make a show of it and whatever. So I think the one potential positive from this could be that next week Sophie B could finally see the light and be like, I can't trust him. He's not going to save me. He's going to turn on me. Maybe she figures out she can vote with Sage and Christina to get either Sophie or Savannah or Rizzo out. But
if
I don't think
Rizzo's not going anywhere. He's going to play his idol on himself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if as long as Savannah doesn't win individual immunity, they can vote her out.
Yeah, so she's their only hope.
Yeah, unless Rizzo sees the writing on the wall and plays it for her.
Yeah.
Then he'd just be handing her money or risking that.
I think about this a lot. If I didn't know Rizzo and Savannah were in 50, would that change my perspective of watching this season as a viewer? I think it would. I think it would make me cheer for them a little bit more. And I think I would be like, you go. You're doing great. But since we know they're on 50, I keep on being like, well, they're going to get in at least the top whatever. Yeah. And then they keep it feels like they're sitting behind the scenes writing the script. Yeah. Does it not?
Yes. And I think that's the one I struggle with. I'm kind of like an underdog person in general, or I like to see the weird people win. Me too. Or the people that aren't the obvious choices, or the people that are nicer, whatever. Those are the people that I like to see win. And I can respect people's game if they're a villain or if they're just really good at whatever and they're not the underdog. I will respect that and can respect their win. And I've been trying to figure out why I can't with these three. Why am I so adamant that somebody else wins? And I think it's just because I need to have faith in Survivor. I need to see people actually playing the game. And so far I see just these three people on this alliance actually playing
everybody
the game.
Like a fiddle.
Steven was playing it to some extent, but he made some bobble or bad choices as well. He had opportunities that were missed. So at this point it's so boring just to know that nothing's going to ever happen. It's going to be these three in the end. And you have three people this whole season actually playing the game, and everybody else is just there to fill a space. It's just annoying and boring and stupid. And I think just for my personal emotional health, I need to see somebody do something to make it exciting.
Yeah. Or unpredictable. I want it to be the kind of Survivor, and I'm not even saying old era versus new era. I'm just saying Survivor in general, where a tribal council ends and everybody's just sitting there what just happened? like just totally shocked because something came out of left field. This one kind of maybe a little bit.
But still in the end it was like, oh, this is so predictable that we're not going to get satisfaction because somebody's going to do something stupid because nobody's playing the game with their heads.
Yeah.
I think this almost reminds me of like early reality TV where, you know, I kind of feel like I remember this with like Big Brother and like early seasons of Survivor, especially season 1, where it's like nobody understood alliances, nobody understood to be cutthroat, and everybody was just there because like reality TV was new and exciting and people wanted to make money and be on TV. That's what this feels like. It's like there are 3 people who came into this game understanding that they were there for a contest and to win money and to strategize and to play and to build alliances, and everybody else was just vibing. Like that dude, was it season 1 when he just voted people out alphabetically? Like, that's what annoying. This is reminding me of. It's like... Yeah.
And then he was like, you can't be mad at me, I'm just going down the alphabet. That's so stupid. That's kind of fun though, because it made things sporadic. This is just like, I think we all know the top 3, like in our hearts of hearts, if we're being honest with ourselves. It's Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie B. I think we all know that. But I think we've known that since before this season even started.
Like pre-merge, probably.
Yeah. And anytime I get excited thinking that like thought is going to be debunked, I get let down.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any chance at this point that one of them gets taken out before the end? Or that they turn on each other?
No. The only one that might turn is Sophie B, but she ain't turning.
Yeah. And I think I've just been consistently delusional in thinking that one of them is going to realize that they have to turn on the other.
There can't be 3 winners.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I still struggle with... I can see why Rizzo is not turning on anybody because he has been the most pivotal player. He has the best case for the jury, I think. Like, he hasn't won immunity challenges. Maybe that would be something. But he's... just the way he's been at Tribal, the way that he's, you know, been the puppet master behind all of the votes, the way he's tricked people into voting his way. Savannah's not doing that. Everybody doesn't like her. Like, nobody wants to listen to her or side with her at this point, and they haven't for many episodes. Maybe, like, early on, she was definitely pulling the strings to some extent. But I think Rizzo's the obvious person to win. So I don't think he has any reason to care whether he gets Sophie B or Savannah out because he's going to beat everybody. So I think that Savannah is one who could be cutthroat enough to say, I got to get rid of Rizzo because he's going to beat me. And he's the only one who can beat me.
Yeah, and he can. Because in my mind, if I'm in the jury, winning a bunch of immunity challenges tells me you got a bunch of hall passes. That doesn't tell me you did something. Because that's how I feel about Savannah. I think that she... Well, I can't even say that. Because when she didn't win individual immunity, they didn't bother to vote her out then.
Yeah. I think... Well, I'm curious about... I had a thought. Lost it.
Will they make fire?
I think so, right?
If they make fire, I could see Christina accidentally doing a great job.
I feel like if they make fire, this would be like when they did it and nobody did it. After so long, they just said, never mind.
Just push-up contest.
We're going to use the lighter.
Yeah, something. Christina, I will say, I don't think she's got a very good cut or edit at all this season because she keeps on saying Savannah, Savannah, Savannah. She's the only one who's been consistently being like, we have to get Savannah, we have to get Savannah. And then it seems like it gets to the end and it's like, you're either with me or against me. And everybody's like, we're against you. And she's like, well, shit, well, I can't just vote Savannah by myself. That'll put a target on my own back. But she's been really the only one that's consistent trying to get the alliance out. I do wish we would have seen more from her early on because now that we are getting more screen time with her, I'm like, I like Christina. And I think she's playing and I think she's involved. But in the beginning, I thought she was on vacation.
I just think she doesn't have a strong enough... I agree with you. I think she doesn't have a strong enough voice to be like, this is what leader quality. This is, you got to go after these people. This is whatever. She comes off as just sort of like fun and happy-go-lucky and stuff. And... I think tonight we saw something interesting that sort of exemplified that, which was like Steven having a conversation with her and then saying she just kind of doesn't filter her thoughts and just says everything and it's a little chaotic.
That would be me if I was on Survivor.
And nobody's going to follow what that person says if they're not direct and concise and coherent, you know?
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because, yeah, they should have been listening to her the whole time.
Right. And this is after Christina had, like, literally given her lifeline to Steven. I'm still shocked that she did that.
I just would be so pissed if I were her that I did that and then Sage was an idiot and switched. That's just the dumbest thing to me. I don't understand it at all.
I don't like it when people play their advantages on somebody else unless it's in a very creative way.
Right, yeah. I think that if Sage wasn't a dummy, it could have been a good play for Rizzo to play his idol on Sophie B just to keep their alliance together, knowing that they would have votes on Steven. But this whole season is, I wish somebody did this or that because it would actually made sense and been strategic versus people just being
When
chaotic.
Sophie B started talking about, my grandma would want me to take Rizzo's idol. Your grandma was a real smart damn lady. Why are you doing it then?
Oh,
why aren't you doing it then? He's not loyal to you. That would be like somebody getting cheated on, breaking up, getting back together with somebody and being like, oh, he cheated on me again. I'm so shocked and appalled.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Do you think that Rizzo is going to convince her that this was part of something else?
Yes.
That's why he didn't play it?
And he'll probably be like, I knew you were safe. I knew you were safe. Why? You were so safe.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now we know, too, though, that he has essentially admitted that his idol is good for another
he did.
Tribal, because he's like, I'm going to save it for myself, and why would he do that if it wasn't good for another one?
So if history repeats itself, he'll use his idol on himself because...
Or he'll just be like, Jeff, I think there comes a time when everybody has to play their idol.
Not me, bitches.
And not me, because I want to take this home with me, and he puts it back in his pocket.
Yeah, probably something like that. But nobody's going to vote for him because they're not going to assume he's going to use it. So he's fine. Savannah's going to win individual immunity because nobody else can stand on one leg. And then...
What if Christina won immunity?
I would
just
love
to
that.
give her
I
that.
would love that. I
That would
want
be
that
fun.
for all of us. I want to be surprised. If anybody but Savannah wins, if they don't vote for Savannah...
Dummies. But Savannah is she's going to go into that knowing that she has to win it.
Yeah. So she'll win. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Sage will be gone.
Yeah. I could see Sage.
Yeah.
I think if Savannah doesn't win immunity, I think that she will get voted out because I think Rizzo for sure will be like, I have to get rid of her because she's the only person who's a threat to me.
Yeah.
And I think Sophie B probably could be convinced to do that as well.
Well, Sophie B just proved tonight she's going to do whatever she's told.
But if Rizzo tells her to vote out Savannah...
Yeah, that's true.
I guess I don't know which of them she's closer to. Probably Savannah, but... Yeah.
Yeah. Or the girls may all turn on Rizzo. Oh, they can't.
Yeah. Well, I think that which I keep saying if they do this correctly or if they whatever, they're not gonna, so why do I say that? But if they could be cool and convince him that they're not even considering him because he has the idol, and even maybe build it up in his mind that they're considering Sophie B or Savannah.
I could see him putting on a show by being like, this is a souvenir.
Yeah. That's like he could hold on to it or play it for one of them. I don't think he would play it for one of them though, because I think he's smart enough to know that one of them has to go home.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're down to 5, right? Mm-hmm. So if let's just say Savannah wins the next immunity challenge because that just seems the most likely situation. Then she's going to pick someone to take with her, and then she's going to pick 2 people to make fire, right? And then one person's going to go home.
So she'll pick Sophie B, Sage will go home, and Rizzo and Christina will make fire.
Do you think that, though? Do you think that she'll risk giving Rizzo, or if she didn't pick, like say whoever she doesn't pick between Sophie B and Rizzo, do you think that she would risk giving them a chance to sit next to her knowing that they're her biggest threat?
Yeah, because I think that would be like her doing, in her mind, her doing them a solid. Or she's like, I don't want to pick Rizzo because I think he's my biggest threat, but if he earns his way back in, he earns his way back in. You don't think so?
I mean, I just don't think that would be the smart thing.
I agree.
Maybe,
no, I don't think
maybe
it'd be
she
smart.
would, though.
I don't think it'd be smart.
I would like to see at the very end maybe just a little bit of cutthroat play.
They haven't.
I'd love to see maybe like a Sage or
Sage v. Christina on fire?
No. For immunity next week.
Oh, yeah.
My ideal situation would be Sage or Rizzo or Christina wins immunity. I would especially love it if Rizzo won it, because then I think what we would see is everybody's going to vote Savannah except for maybe Sophie B and Savannah. But I think Rizzo might vote Savannah and would not play his idol for her and make a show about keeping it, because he's like, sorry girl, you're my biggest threat, so you gotta go.
Yeah. Or just see how the cookie crumbles kind of thing. He's not playing it for anybody but himself.
To get Savannah gone. And then you would have Christina, Sage, Rizzo, and Sophie B. I think he could pick Sophie B without it being an issue, because she's not done anything to get votes. So at that point, it's the winner, Rizzo, versus 3 people that don't matter, so it wouldn't matter what he did. But he could probably pick Sophie B just to be like, you've been in my alliance, and then have Christina and Sage make fire.
That would make the most sense.
I think that...
But he's also as athletic as a potato chip.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the other thing would be if Savannah wins immunity, I think then you're right. Rizzo would play his idol, so he would be one of the people making fire. But I think that well, I guess then I could see either way too, because she probably also knows that Sophie B hasn't done anything to make a major move, so she's probably like, why wouldn't I bring them?
And then her one ticket to make a big move, she said, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want your idol. I'm just going to go over here and turn this rock and see if there's anything under it. Nope. Okay. Don't be nice. Stop being nice.
Not in Survivor.
No. Well, up until
not after the merge. You can be nice before the merge.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. No, you're right. The merge. That's when you turn not nice. Okay. Well, we've ranted. Any final thoughts, Mary Hauser?
I just don't even know if I want to watch.
I feel the same.
I'm gonna.
Every week
I get drunk.
Make it TikTok. I need to. Every week I make it TikTok. We should make the next one a drinking game.
Yes.
Every week I make a TikTok and I say, this is the week. This is the week we have to see some action. Here we go. And then nothing happens.
We had the opportunity. My face literally was like this multiple times.
Yeah.
And then freaking throwing it away. Sage coming in hot, ruining everything.
Yeah.
And I love you, Sage. I really wanted you to do well and go far. And
first she was too emotional, then not emotional. Yeah.
I think this might be why she doesn't have a social media presence, because she probably went home and was like, what did I do?
She's busy with her blackheads. She probably got a lot of them on the island.
That poor girl. She's probably suffering emotionally.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching. You. Come back again next week. The finale is next week, so it'll be a good episode, I hope. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Don't do this.
Oh, stop.